What's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fans? This your boy JB, host of the Behind the Bench podcast networking channel. Just giving a shout out to the rest of the crew. And for everyone who's tuning in, I hope that you support Behind the Bench, become a subscriber, and help make this show the best that it can be. Now, I just wanted to show the standings of the Eastern Conference and see how the East is rounding out after the first 2 weeks of the 23-24 NBA season. And as we can see, at the top of the standings are the Boston Celtics. They off and rolling. They not messing around. They're 5-0 after the first 2 weeks. And surprisingly, the Philadelphia 76ers are right behind them in second place with a 4-1 record. And coming in third place, tied for third place, are the Atlanta Hawks and the Orlando Magic, who had a big victory last night versus the Los Angeles Lakers. Orlando Magic has talent, a good young team on the rise with a star, up-and-coming star Pablo Pichero, and they have a good size front court and good point guard play, and they got a nice second unit to boot. And then in fifth place are the Milwaukee Bucks, as Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard, Dame Dollar, trying to develop their chemistry that will be needed for them to reach their potential this season. And then tied for sixth and seventh place are the Brooklyn Nets and the Indiana Pacers. You know, I like Brooklyn Nets team. I like the young talent that they have on their team. And if Ben Simmons, if he could somehow return back to form, man, the way he was even during his early years with the Philadelphia 76ers, man, you know, Brooklyn, they could surprise some people and possibly, compete for a playoff spot through the play-in. But Indiana has a deep young team. I like what they're doing there. And then the Toronto Raptors are in eighth place with a 3-4 record. That's followed by the Charlotte Hornets, who are 2-3 so far this season. And then at 10th, 11th, and 12th, the Miami Heat, the New York Knicks, and the Cleveland Cavaliers all have a 2-4 record. They're off the slow starts, and all three teams were playoff teams last year. So you figure they'll start to pick it up sooner or later as the season moves forward. And then 13th place are the Detroit Pistons. They've had some tough losses so far this year. They've had some tough losses where, they could have pulled out games. But these last couple of games, they've lost pretty big, big deficits. And then the Pistons and the Chicago Bulls both are tied for 13th and 14th place with a 2-5 record. And then to round it out, at the bottom of the standings right now are the Washington Wizards. And I figure they're going to have a difficult season this year. When you lose a top player like Bradley Beal along with Kristaps Porzingis, you're going to take a hit. Then even Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who was on the team prior to the last season, was traded to the Denver Nuggets. So that's a franchise in transition trying to find a way. But, they're trying to draft in some young players, and, it may take a couple years before, you can start seeing some results. So that's how the Eastern Conference is looking and shaping up after the first 2 weeks. And, I'm sure the standings will look different a week from now outside of Boston and probably Philly. Philadelphia, with the players that they brought to their team this offseason and the recent trade of James Harden to the Clippers, and they got some, good players in return that can, solidify their second unit. Philadelphia always finds a way to, win 50 games, during the regular season, but it's all about the postseason, and can Joel Embiid advance past the second round, the reigning league MVP? That's really the challenge. It's going to be tough because, Milwaukee is going to make their presence known sooner or later. And then the Hawks are playing good basketball. They got a deep team, But I like these young teams. the Orlando Magic, the Brooklyn Nets, Indiana Pacers, teams like that on the rise. The Charlotte Hornets, what they need, and they was one pick away from winning this year's draft, which I'm sure they would have drafted Victor Wembanyama. They need to draft, be fortunate enough to draft a player who can truly be a franchise, not a marquee player like a LaMelo Ball. I think LaMelo Ball is more like a marquee player. They need a bona fide future franchise player to finally uplift that franchise. But that's just my breakdown for the first 2 weeks of the Eastern Conference. And I'll be talking about the Western Conference soon down the line. So until next time, this is JB for BTB Behind the Bench.